Yes, Bitcoin ran into some major resistance and we saw this correction towards the downside, consolidation, and at the moment we are seeing this massive sell-off towards the downside. Guys, we're going to find out what we could expect because yes, Bitcoin drops below 30,000 as big whales prepare for possible sell-off. Is a correction to 25,000 US dollar coming? Guys, we're going to look at the charts and we're going to find out which levels we could reach in the immediate short term and what is the next price target for Bitcoin. And are we seeing some kind of a pattern on the longer time frames? Guys, we're going to look at all of these factors, but most importantly, yes, you're still early in this game and we're going to find out why you can be the next crypto millionaire. And not only that, we're also going to look at the Bitcoin dominance because yes, like I told you in my previous video, that I expect that we're going to turn around in these regions and that we're going to see that the dominance will come all the way back down to the 44% level. Guys, we could expect a massive pump for the altcoins. And guys, like always, if you want to find out more, watch the video until the end, smash up the like button and subscribe, and most importantly, activate the bell so that you will stay up to date. Welcome back to B for Crypto, and yes, today we're going to start on the daily chart for Bitcoin. And guys, we can see that Bitcoin reached the level of 31,000 US dollars, and then we saw this correction from this red trend line that we see that we have found all the way from these levels. And like in the previous video I told you, guys, we are seeing some major resistance each and every time we are touching this major trend line, and we can see that Bitcoin once again touched this trend line, and at the moment we are seeing a retracement towards the downside. But on the daily chart, guys, first of all, let's zoom out and let's find out what we can see what Bitcoin did from the beginning of the year. And as we can see from the beginning of the year, we saw this massive pump for Bitcoin, and then we saw this consolidation, this small dump, and then we saw this next push towards the upside, reaching our very important trend line. And guys, we saw this correction all the way back down. And now we're going to take the Fibonacci retracement tool and we're going to take it from this bottom all the way to the swing high, and then we can see that Bitcoin came all the way to this top, and then we saw a correction exactly towards the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement level. We saw this pump exactly from these levels, and we also touched the 200 moving average. So guys, now we could see that Bitcoin saw this next pump towards the upside, and then we saw this consolidation and the next leg up, and we reached our 31,000 US dollar level, and once again this very important trend line. And now we're seeing this correction. So guys, could this be that we're going to see a retracement all the way back down to the 61.8 like we saw in the previous move? Guys, let's draw the Fibonacci retracement level from the swing low all the way to the swing high. And then we can see, yes guys, if we're going to see a correction all the way back down to the 61.8, this would exactly be the 23,400 US dollar level. But guys, we can see that we have a lot of support roundabout in these areas where we also had a lot of resistance, and resistance turns into support. So guys, yes, we could expect that Bitcoin will come all the way back down if we're going to break this major important support that we have round about the levels of 28,400 US dollars in the immediate short term. So guys, but if we're going to get a bounce from these regions, we could expect that Bitcoin will get some major support in these regions of 28,500 US dollars. But guys, if we're going to break these levels, we could expect the dump all the way back down to at least this major support box that we have round about the 25,000 US dollar level. So yes guys, maybe we're going to get this major sell-off all the way towards these levels, because guys, we could see that Bitcoin had this massive pump towards the upside, reaching the 31,000 US dollars in 4 months. So guys, yes, it is just healthy for the market that we're going to see a correction towards the downside and that Bitcoin will come all the way back down to the very important moving averages. But guys, this is now on the longer time frame. Let's go down on the 4-hour chart. And guys, yes, on the 4-hour chart, we can see that Bitcoin broke this very important 50 moving average, and also we are underneath the 13 EMA. So the 13 EMA is exactly here, and also the 50 moving average we broke towards the downside. And yes guys, we can see that this support box is all the way in these levels round about the 28,900 US dollar level. So guys, yes, we could expect in the immediate short term that we're going to at least come all the way back down to these levels until we're going to maybe see a bounce. But guys, first of all, we're going to draw the Fibonacci retracement level all the way from the swing low all the way to the swing high, and then we can see that, yes guys, let me just adjust it all the way to the top, and then we can see that Bitcoin broke the 38.2 and is exactly at the 50% level. So guys, yes, we could see that the 100 moving average on the 4-hour chart is exactly at the 61.8. So this is going to be my first price target, because we saw this massive dump and this major sell-off at the moment. So we could at least expect Bitcoin to come back on the 4-hour chart to the 61.8. And yes guys, we can see that at the 61.8 we also have some previous resistance which will act as support. So we could at least expect a dump all the way to these levels until Bitcoin is going to get a bounce. But guys, at the moment it really looks like that Bitcoin will come all the way back down to the 78.6 or 88.6, which is exactly at this very important trend line. And yes, this is going to be the make or break situation. If we're going to break this level, this very important trend line, round about the 28,400 US dollar level for Bitcoin, we could expect that yes, we're going to get a dump towards the downside. But guys, if we're going to get a strong bounce from these regions, we could expect that Bitcoin will form a new high round about the levels of 31,400 US dollars. Because yes, if we're going to get this dump all the way back down to the 78.6 and this major bounce from these regions, guys, we would be forming this falling wedge, which would be a bullish pattern, and we have a breakout target from this falling wedge all the way back up at the 31,000 US dollars. But guys, first of all, it is really important that Bitcoin will either get a bounce at the 61.8 or this very important trend line. But if we're going to break this very important trend line towards the downside, we could expect that Bitcoin will dump even lower. But guys, now we're going to look at this very interesting chart. People living on a Bitcoin standard are highlighted in orange, and you can see that yes guys, you're still early in this game and only a small number of people hold Bitcoin. But guys, if we're going to look at the next chart, then we can see the market caps of different asset classes in trillions. And guys, yes, Bitcoin isn't even visible on this diagram, but you can see that all of these assets eventually one day will flow into Bitcoin, and that's why we could reach a price for Bitcoin over 1 million US dollars. And guys, yes, talking about this major moonshots, we're going to go on the Bitcoin dominance to find out what we could expect, because like I told you that I expect that the Bitcoin dominance will come all the way back down to this major support that we have exactly in these levels. And we could see that the dominance already dumped towards this support that we have roundabout from these levels. So guys, yes, we're going to see that a lot of profits from Bitcoin will flow into the altcoins, and maybe we're going to see this major sell-off that we're seeing at the moment for Bitcoin. But guys, all of these profits will flow into the altcoins. And yes guys, if we go on the weekly chart for Bitcoin, then we can see that Bitcoin had this major push reaching the 31,000 US dollars all the way from this bottom where Bitcoin consolidated sideways, and we have formed this bottom, and we had this major push all the way to this major resistance and support area that we had from the last bull market. And we can see, if we go over to Link, we can see that yes, the altcoins also had this major dump towards the downside, and we saw this consolidation formed the bottom, but we didn't have this major leg up all the way to the support and resistance zone that we have exactly in these areas. For all of the major altcoins, we could expect a massive pump towards the upside, reaching all the way to 100% if we're going to see the same move that Bitcoin already did on the weekly chart, that all the profits from Bitcoin will flow into the altcoins, and that we're going to see this consolidation in these areas of roundabout at 25,000 US dollars all the way up to the 31,000 US dollars, that Bitcoin will go sideways and all of this money will flow into the altcoins, and we're going to get this massive pump. Because yes guys, I told you that you should buy some of these altcoins exactly at this green line, and at the moment we're already seeing some massive profits for all of these coins. You can see that Phantom also is pushing higher, and we could have a price target all the way in these areas. So guys, if you want to buy all of these altcoins, go down in the video description below and sign up with my BITGET link, where you receive a massive deposit bonus. And if you want to find out which altcoin you should hold, watch this video exactly now.